In an area within Jiangning Square, the 13 members of Eclipse Moon gathered, seemingly unharmed and orderly as if they had taken cover before the bombardment. 12 of them formed a circle around the middle-aged man Jinguji Saikairo. He adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses, removed his hands from his suit pockets, and raised his long, thin index finger, a golden light gleaming at its tip. His gaze sharpened as his right hand moved rapidly through the air while he chanted an incantation, Lin, Bing, Do, J, Jia, Jin, Zai, Lai, Shin. Golden light condensed into a gigantic pentagram in the air. As Jinguji pointed his right hand skyward, the pentagram shattered into countless tiny runes that soared upwards. Moments later, a vast mist began to spread outward from his location, soon shrouding the entire Jiangning Square. The 3 outer city teams immediately reported the anomalous fog to the command center. Zhu Zheng ordered everyone to proceed with caution to prevent attacks under the fog's cover. Zhuo Feiyu noted this ability was absent from prior intelligence, indicating Eclipse Moon had held back in the first battle. Veteran Yu Zhangyang calmly assessed it as a non-offensive smokescreen. Mo Zhongning, however, smiled coldly, noting that while fog obscured human vision, it could not hinder his soul beasts, making the battlefield more advantageous for him. Both his and Zhuo Feiyu's teams slowly advanced into the square. Zhang Yi, in contrast, remained on his rooftop ambush position at the square's edge, waiting for the enemy to come to him, confident they would. With the situation unclear, Zhu Zheng chose not to issue orders, trusting the outer city superhuman's adaptability. After using his ability, Jinguji put his hands back in his pockets. A gray bird landed on his shoulder and spat out 12 identical gray crows, which then landed on the shoulders of the other Eclipse Moon members. Jinguji, his face perpetually impatient, stated that the battlefield was now an unknown territory and told Takeuchi Mayumi it was her turn. Phoenix Inujin praised Jinguji's reliable methods, though Jinguji ignored him. Takeuchi Mayumi, after receiving Phoenix Inujin's approving glance, stepped to the circle's center. Her hands became transparent as she slowly retrieved a scroll from her head. The scroll unfurled on the snow, untouched by snowflakes as if it didn't exist. Kneeling, she raised her right hand, and a slender brush, its tip held by a small demon, appeared. Having exhausted her previous red ink supply, she plunged the brush into her left arm. Blood gushed forth, greedily sucked by the demon at the brush tip, condensing into ink. With a solemn expression, she wrote densely packed blood-red characters on the scroll. After a long while, Phoenix Inujin and Jinguji examined the completed divine script. Takeuchi Mayumi's face was pale from the toll of using her ability. She calmly reported that the enemy had arrived from the west and north, for in each direction, with more lurking enemies yet to be revealed. Jinguji frowned at the smaller number compared to the last battle, suggesting they might be elites. Phoenix Inujin speculated they were cannon fodder to lure Eclipse Moon out and test their abilities. Jinguji asserted that with Mayumi present, they held the tactical advantage and asked her to outline their course of action. Mayumi picked up the scroll, her gaze fixed west, and agreed. Meanwhile, the Chunibu boy Satoru Tomoya sat cross-legged in the formation center, eyes closed, his ability active. In his vision, red threads connected all 13 Eclipse Moon members, converging on him, enabling real-time communication regardless of distance, rendering the Jiangnan region's information blockade ineffective. Phoenix Inujin smiled, declaring they would make a scene to show the Jiangnan region leaders that Eclipse Moon was not to be trifled with. At the combat command center, Zhu Zheng frowned at the thick fog. Reconnaissance drones were blinded, eliminating their home field visual advantage. They now relied solely on the body cameras of the outer city superhumans. As Takeuchi Mayumi's divination concluded, Eclipse Moon members received their orders and departed optimistically, guided by the gray ravens through the fog. Jinguji, however, frowned at a map on his phone, noting the enemy only approached from 2 directions, leaving a gap, wondering if it was an escape route left open or something else. Phoenix Inujin patted his shoulder, saying they didn't need to follow the enemy's lead but should seize the initiative, trusting Mayumi's divination. Jinguji, after a moment's thought, nodded, warning Huan not to be careless, as one wrong move could mean death. Phoenix Inujin waved him off, muttering what a jinx. On the western front, Wu Shifang's team waited silently for Mo Zhongning's reconnaissance results. The soul beasts weaved through the ruins. Suddenly, a dazzling white light flashed in one soul beast's vision before it vanished. Mo Zhongning abruptly opened his eyes, reporting that one of his soul beasts had been killed. Wu Shifang and the others grew serious. Mo Zhongning, remaining calm, mobilized the 10 soul beasts near the deceased one to scout the area while ordering the rest to retreat. The western area was not large, and soon the 10 soul beasts rushed toward the location, only to be met by a thick gun barrel. Mo Joning immediately identified it, the Eclipse Moon artilleryman, Kurosawa Akagabe, who wielded a large black hand cannon that fired supernatural projectiles. The soul beasts were instantly destroyed by Kurosawa's gunfire one after another. In their fleeting final moments, Mo Joning used their perspectives to observe the approaching superhumans. Besides Kurosawa Akagabe, two other figures approached, a young man with a spiky, edgy hairstyle, Sakuraba Yoshimitsu, and a third whose immense size caused Mo Joning's pupils to contract sharply. "It's him! Damn it, how could we be so unlucky?" Mo Joning exclaimed in terror before all the dispatched soul beasts were wiped out. He stood up panting heavily. Wu Shifang and the others pressed him on what he saw. A venomous glint in his eyes, Mo Joning gritted his teeth and said, "What we encountered here was that monster. Daikoku Kainobu." Upon hearing this, Wu Shifang, Li Weihai, and Jia Heading also turned serious, having witnessed Daikoku Kainobu's strength in the first battle, where he single-handedly wiped out two teams of superhumans. He was the most dangerous known enemy and the one everyone least wanted to encounter. Seeing Mo Joning's fear, Wu Shifang snorted contemptuously, stating that even against a powerful opponent, there was no need for such terror. As a strength-type superhuman, Wu Shifang believed that with capable teammates, his team could put up a fight against Daikoku Kainobu. Mo Joning, clutching his forehead, argued that Daikoku did not come alone but with two helpers, making a 4-against-3 fight difficult and potentially fatal. Wu Shifang calmly countered that their goal was not to defeat the enemy but to hold them off for a while, which should be possible. As team captain, Wu Shifang possessed extraordinary courage and a bold yet meticulous personality. He immediately sent intelligence to headquarters. The Western squad has encountered the enemy. 3 have been spotted so far, Daikoku Kainobu, Sakuraba Yoshimitsu, and Kurosawa Akagabe. Dozens of analysts at the Operations Command Center immediately began working, analyzing the trio's combat capabilities and deriving optimal responses via algorithms. Reviewing the report, Zhu Zheng ordered Wu Shifang to engage according to the original plan, hold the enemy, force them to use their abilities, and create an opportunity for the Celestial Squad's breakthrough. Wu Shifang acknowledged. Ending the communication, Wu Shifang looked at his 3 companions. He declared that since they were here, they should set aside life and death and fight to the death. For Wu Shifang, Jiangning was his home. If it fell, his family and friends would be wiped out by Eclipse Moon, so he had to fight even at the cost of his life. While Mo Jiangning and the other 2 might not share his level of self-sacrifice, they could not back down, as desertion would ruin their reputations and lead to purging by the Jiangnan region. They decided to gamble and fight for a future. Gritting his teeth, Mo Jiangning growled agreement, wanting to see what these Japanese scum were made of. The 4 formed a diamond formation, enhanced superhuman Wu Shifang at the front, Mo Jiangning and Li Weihai on the left and right, and Jia Heading at the rear. Soon, a tall figure emerged from the mist, the Yokozuna Daikoku Kainobu, followed by a playful Sakuraba Yoshimitsu and Kurosawa Akagabe. Guided by the Grey Ravens, they easily located Wu Shifang's group despite the fog. Upon seeing the 4, Daikoku Kainobu frowned in disappointment, questioning if these were the elite troops sent by the Jiangnan region, as they looked weak. Sakuraba Yoshimitsu, arms crossed, chuckled that they were likely cannon fodder for testing, easily dealt with the main force probably behind them. Daikoku Kainobu agreed and suggested not wasting time on them. Their dismissive attitude enraged Wu Shifang and his team. Their tactical helmet's translation functions allowed them to understand. Wu Shifang sneered, stating that with 4 against 3, the advantage was theirs and the enemy had misunderstood the situation. Upon hearing this, the flamboyant Sakuraba Yoshimitsu waved his hands repeatedly, saying, "No, no, no, please don't misunderstand." He and Kurosawa Akagabe stepped back in unison. Sakuraba then pointed at Daikoku Kainobu and said, "You only have him as your opponent. We promise we won't interfere." A mocking glint flashed in his eyes as he added, "If you're capable, you can even kill him."